Hello YouTube! In this video I'm going to talk about Asian method of filtration, the Undergravel filter box, my favorite filtration for Caridina Shrimp. I will explain to you why this method is so good, talk about pros and cons, and at the end of the video I'm going to show you how to set up your shrimp tank using this method. Stay tuned! About a year ago, I came across one video on YouTube about one Asian shrimp shop with many tanks made the same way with only one small UGF filter box. What I really like to see is how he set up his tanks. All the tanks were built the same way with just one Undergravel filter box and a little amount of soil at the bottom of the tanks. I like that setup very much because it was very simple and I decided to do my tanks the same way. Now I can say that I have much better results with this setup compared to traditional methods. Thanks to Derek for all his info. I will leave a link to that video in my description below. Definitely check it out if you didn't see it. Okay, let's talk about benefits of this method. Number 1. You will be using much less soil compared to traditional method with a thick layer at the bottom. The water is constantly moving through the soil inside the filter box, and your soil works much harder to buffer the water. I'm only using one filter box in the tanks up to 60 liters, and it's one box is only holding 1.3 liter of soil. If you are using traditional method, you use about 8 liters in the same tank. So with this method you will save a lot of soil, which does cost quite a lot. Number 2. You don't need to use soil at the bottom of your tank. Thick layer of soil is the biggest shrimp killer from my experience. Shrimps are messy eaters, and when you feed them a lot of food and also their feces sink down into the soil, creating pockets full of ammonia. The shrimp like to dig the soil, and sometimes they release that ammonia, which can easily kill your shrimp, especially your baby shrimp. This does not happen when you are using very thin layer of the soil, less than 5 mm thick. I've noticed a very high baby survival rate once I started using this method. Number 3. You don't ever need to restart your tank. Normally, if your soil lost buffering capacity over the time, that means it's time to restart your tank. But in this method, all you need to do is to remove the box from the tank, change the soil and put the box back inside. You might need to cycle your soil for a few weeks if it's leaking ammonia. You simply run the filter in the bucket of water for a few weeks before putting it back into the tank. This is why it's handy to have a spare box, so you can cycle the soil first and simply replace the old box with a fresh one. You can't do it if you have a built-in UGF filter, and this is why it is much better to have a freestanding box like this. Number 4. This method provides your tank with plenty of oxygen because it's air-driven filter. Now let's talk about downsides of this method, and I only noticed one downside. After a few months, you might notice that some dust from the soil settles down to the bottom of the box and might blow out into the tank and cloud your water. It is not going to impact on your shrimps and only reduce your visibility. You can try to siphon the dust out with the silicone tubing. Also, additional sponge filter can help you to polish the water. This is why I have a sponge filters in all my tanks. It's also beneficial for shrimps because sponge filter is a good source of biofilm. You probably noticed that some breeders like to add some media and sponges at the bottom of the UGF box. I personally don't do this because you lose a lot of space and it will reduce the amount of soil you can feed inside your box. The shrimps have very little bioload and you don't need media at all. If you want to use the media, it's better to run another filter like hang-on filter or canister filter. You need to remember that the main function of this filtration is to buffer your water and lower your pH. Sometimes I only add thin sponge at the bottom just to stop small particles of the soil getting to the bottom part of the filter. I wouldn't recommend putting fine sponges because it will clog very fast and will reduce the flow. Instead, you just can add a sponge filter into your tank. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate you how easy to set up this tank using this method. Okay, I'm gonna demonstrate how to set up this filter. So all you need is the acrylic cube, roughly 10 by 15 by 15 centimeters, and you can buy this online. I bought on eBay one seller who can make them custom made, so you just need to tell them the sizes and they can make it for you, and it's not very expensive. This cube cost me around 14 euro. And also you need a bottom part. It's like a plastic grill, which you can also buy on eBay, and you need a air lifter, so a tube, extendable tube with air stone. So, and then all you need to do is just to put this inside and attach this tube. So the best way, I think, for me is to put it in the corner. So what I do is just to glue it in the corner like this with a super glue, and then I cut around and then leave it like this. You can also put a sponge, but make sure the sponge is not too fine, because the fine sponge will clog very fast. So if you have little gaps and you don't want the soil to get inside to go to the bottom, you can put this one on top like this. So this sponge will stop the soil to get in to the bottom part. Yeah, okay, so let's see what Derek sent it to me. So this is the special made filter. You see, it's fitting very tight, so no gaps around. He even cut the corners like this, you see. So it's very good because you don't need to put the sponge, you just can put the soil straight on top of it. It has a little tube which is you can remove, and it's extendable. It's not very long. It's not good for long tanks, but for medium tanks is okay. And it has a plastic air stone at the bottom. Very well made. It didn't cost a lot. It's maybe 10 euro something, all set, including the power, including the bottom grill, including this air lifter. But the problem is because this guy is located in Singapore, and then delivery cost me a lot, so I pay a lot of money for delivery. But you can see it's a nice logo here, Shrimp Affair. You can see the link below. You can see his shop. He run a lot of tanks with the same filters, with the same filter like this. So this is for demonstration. Yeah, this tank for demonstration. I'm gonna set it up and show you step by step how to do it. So yeah, I'll move this away. Yeah, I'm gonna use this soil, and this is very good soil. If you're in UK, you can get it on eBay, and that's what it say. Well, that's a noisy bird. Okay, so it's make your pH 5.5, and that's what it says. It keep the pH quite low, about 5.5, 5.7. I really like this soil, and it's not breaking very easy like Amazonia. It stay like this for a long time. So let's fill this tank, this filter. Okay, this fill. You see the little bit of soil coming at the bottom, but that's not a big deal. That's not a big problem. So all you need to do is put it in a tank. This is quite a small tank. It's just for demonstration. And then you need to put a little bit on the bottom of the tank. And it might be too much. But you got the point. So you need to have a little bit of soil just for decoration, for better look, I think. It's that it doesn't do much, this soil at the bottom, just to stop your shrimps to be very slippery on the glass, and also just for better look. That's all you need to do. So that's it. So this is simple setup. just move the camera like this. Okay, let's fill this with water and switch on the pump. Okay, we fill it with water, and now let's switch on the pump. Here you go. So this is an example for you. It's very simple to set up. All you need to do is just to fill the box with the soil, put a little bit soil at the bottom, and start cycling your tank. That's all you need to do. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful for you. Please leave me a comment and let me know what do you think about this method. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Happy shrimp keeping and see you next time.